Hey everyone, the Suspense Squad is back for another great interview. Tonight we're featuring best-selling author Diann Mills. Everyone, welcome Diann.
Hi, Diann.
Hi, everyone.
Diann believes her readers should expect an adventure. She combines unforgettable characters with unpredictable plots to create action-packed suspense novels, and we can all attest to that she does indeed do that. She's just released 2 books, Airborne and Where Tomorrow Leads. So Diann, can you start by showing us Airborne and read the back cover for us?
Here we go. Green is for virus. This is New York City as we're looking through a plane. Heather Lawrence's long-awaited vacation to Salzburg wasn't supposed to go like this. Mere hours into the transatlantic flight, the Houston FBI agent is wakened when passengers begin exhibiting horrific symptoms of an unknown infection. As the virus quickly spreads and dozens of passengers fall ill, Heather fears she's witnessing an epidemic similar to ones her estranged husband studies for a living. But this airborne contagion may have been deliberately released. While Heather remains quarantined with other survivors, she works with her FBI colleagues to identify the person behind this attack. The prime suspect, Dr. Chad Lawrence, an expert in his field, and Heather's husband. The Lawrence's marriage has been on the rocks since Chad announced his career took precedence over his wife and future family and moved out. As more victims fall prey days after the initial outbreak, time's running out to hunt down the killer, one who may be closer to the victims than anyone ever expected. This story, it just gets me excited all over again because I had the idea 3 years before COVID. Wow. So anyway,
that's chills.
Kind of does me too.
Hope Wellborn, you're up first. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, Diann, it's great to see you. And one thing about your books is that you always have really great characters in all of your stories. And I know that part of your writing process has to do with extensive character sketches. You have a lot of upfront research that you do with your characters. But my question, and Heather and Chad are no exception, obviously, great characters. My question is, when you're first thinking and getting that inkling of a book, do the characters present themselves to you first, or are you thinking of the plot and then the characters come alongside of that?
I start with a what if. And the what if for Airborne was, what if a killer virus was unleashed on board an international flight? That was what plagued me for a couple of years because I didn't know what to do with it. But then I go into character. Okay, who and what kind of a character would have the most to lose and the most to gain by working through as a heroine and as a hero in my story? So as I'm thinking and adding characteristics, some of the research that I do, some of the people I talk to who have the same types of jobs that my characters do, I think about some of their personality traits and would they fit. I really, really do have a wonderful time, and thank you for what you said about my characters. I'm putting the finishing touches on a how-to book for Bold Vision Publishers called Exploring the Art of Character, and I'm very excited about that. So, you're talking about the subject that is very dear to my heart, because if they're not real, if they're not unpredictable, if they're not, hey, I know that person, or I've met that person, or wow, I'd love to know that person, then I feel like I've failed. So I want to add all kinds of little details and tidbits of information that make them unique, make them unforgettable. That's my goal always.
I'll be honest, I wasn't too thrilled with Chad in the beginning of your book.
No, he wasn't very nice.
No, he was not.
I just wanted to smack him. He gets better, but
And we agree he was a jerk.
yes, in the beginning.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Lots of
I
others.
wasn't how you were gonna redeem him, so that was really, really good because I liked him by the end of the story. So
Yeah. He starts to
great.
improve. Yeah, he gets better.
Mhm.
Yeah, he got better. He just had his priorities all mixed up, and guilt and all those things that make us all a bit dysfunctional. He had that too.
That's real, but that's real. That's what you were saying. You like for them to be real, and I think a lot of us deal with getting our priorities mixed up sometimes. So that was very real for him.
Yes.
Relatable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Diann.
You're
Let's-
welcome.
Patty Nicholas Boyd, what's your question?
I really love all of your works, and
thank you.
you've been published for, you've done quite a few books. So my question would be, if you were to go back to your pre-published self and give yourself a piece of advice, what would it be?
Always read more. Always study more. I attended conferences and I looked at it seriously. I think that if I had stepped onto stage with a group like you have, in which you critique each other and offer advice and encouragement and support, if I'd have had that, I think things would have gone much faster. My husband dared me to start writing, challenged me. In 96 and 97, I wrote the book, and in 98, it came out. But I think it could have been a much better book, so that we want each book to be better than the previous one, but I think I could have showed more professionalism if I'd had a strong critique group right from the start.
Okay, Virginia Vaughn, what's your question?
Hi, Diann. It's nice
Hi.
to see you. I read Airborne and I really loved it. I have read a good many of your books, but this book struck me as so timely. Given the current global pandemic, this book is especially timely, and I know they put it out a little early just because of that. I was wondering, can you share your inspiration for writing the story?
Okay, I sure can. And it might take me 5 or 6 minutes. So if that's okay, you can just tell me to stop. But it's exciting. It shows how God is in the process of directing our writing, despite us. But I said 3 years ago, I had that idea, the what if. But I really didn't have anyone to help me, a research person. I have a fabulous FBI agent in DC who helps me with everything. But there were other people whom I needed to find out more information. So this is what happened. I was in Albuquerque. I'm in Houston. I was in Albuquerque and I was doing a conference, and one of the other presenters sat beside me, and she's just real sweet, and we kicked it off, I guess you would say. And someone told me that she was also a doctor of microbiology and immunology, and she was Albuquerque's go-to person, especially with schools when there were sicknesses and all kinds of things. And she said, yeah, that's me, and I write too, and I speak. And her name is Dr. Carissa Culbreth. And she said, I've always had this idea. I am not a fiction writer. I'm a nonfiction writer. But what if a virus was unleashed in a crowd? And I thought, oh, this is awesome. So she said, you write it and I'll help you. So I went home from that conference and I was feeling so good. And so I had a few more ideas, and I said to my husband, I need to know what the protocol would be for the flight attendants. And I had an airline in mind, but I wasn't going to name the airline in the book, obviously. Mm-hmm. But that was where I was going. And he said, so-and-so on this praise team is in charge of training all of Houston's flight attendants for that particular.
Wow.
So had a conference call and talked to him, and that was exciting. Things get better. I was in the process of bringing in a new gentleman to our critique group at our church, and we just hit it off real well. He writes suspense for Baker and Revell, James Hannibal. In fact, he's up for a Carroll Award this year. So he was at the house with his wife, and we were talking, and Dean looks at me and he says, "Honey, do you know what he does for a living?" I said, "No." "He's a pilot for," and he named the airlines. So not only could he give me the verbiage and the procedure and the protocol, he could give me insight. The CDC is amazing. Pages and pages and pages of information. And you know how we get excited when somebody says, "Oh, what's it like to be a writer?" Well, that's why these people are too. You know, what's it like to work for the CDC? Anyway, it was fun. It was exciting. The hospital I used is one that is used in New York as a quarantine hospital. And so I just had a whole lot of fun. Everything just flowed right into place. And I found that so many times in my stories that, you know, it's, "God, please help me. What did they do with this body?" You know, that may sound like a little bit of an oxymoron, but, you know,
We get
you
it.
always, yes, you get it.
Yeah, we do.
So anyway, that's how it happened. And then it was critiqued, edited, ready for galleys, and I had the cover before COVID.
Mm.
So
Wow.
That's amazing. I love how
Is-
God opened all the windows, doors, windows, everything.
yes, elevators. I mean,
Step inside as we take you to watch the book trailer for Airborne.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you. The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.